So good morning to all. Today we are going to just look into some finer aspects of PowerPoint presentation. And in this today's lecture, we are just I'm sure like many of us are already using PowerPoint, but there are some finer things which actually can do as a teacher. And since I'm doing everything from the scratch, so let me not just directly do it without starting with the basics. Okay? Because it's not mandatory that all of us use PowerPoint or use online classes. So assuming that we are starting from the basics here, let me just go into the PowerPoint. So whenever basically you want to open your PowerPoint, you can just see into your installed programs. Most of the times PowerPoint will be installed because if you are using Microsoft family softwares, you basically have Microsoft Office PowerPoint as well. So I'm using a very old version, a 2007 version, but that works fine for me depending on your system. So if you have a good system, you can actually install 2016 or 2020. But we need to consider that PowerPoint is not really free. But we can actually use at the same time we can also use Google Slides. Okay, that is also possible. For that, what you can do is you can directly go to the Google Drives. Okay, so in Google you can just type drives, and then I think we have already used Google Drive or before. Okay, so you can type drive Google Drive, whatever it takes up. Okay, and then since I'm already logged in. Okay, okay, so go to drive, you can just go to drive there directly, or you can go for drive.google.com. So as soon as I go for this, okay, I have this, okay, and I am already logged in. Okay, and it depends on how many accounts you are logged in into. I am logged into different accounts. So I'll just change the account that we created for this particular purpose. Okay, so once I go into the logged in page of Google Drive, I can go for new. Okay, so once we go for new, we can actually go for Google Slides and create the PowerPoint template. So let it load for the entire page. Let it load. Once it gets loaded, you will actually have all your options active. Okay? So I just go for new, and then I can go for Google Sheets. Okay? Google Docs is for Word file, Google Slides, Google Sheets is for Excel, and Google Slides is basically for PowerPoint. So I'm going to just go for a blank presentation or from a template. So let me just select from a template. Now this I'm showing it to you in case you don't have PowerPoint installed, because Microsoft Office is not a free software. So if you are using you want to use the free version, you can basically go for Google Slide and select any of these amazing templates. Okay, so let's just take a very simple template. Might be this photo album. Okay, and it's not mandatory that it should be the same. You can always change it. Okay, and then you can design it according to your own will. So once you go to this, you can change and do all your editing that you want to do, which you can do in a normal slide as well. And you have all the options, and it's there for you to explore. So this is the free part. Okay, and a similar thing is done by the PowerPoint, which you do here, which is loaded in your Windows. So what you do is, the first thing is, might be you can insert a design. Okay, so let me just go from the beginning. Let me just go for new. Okay, once I go for new, I can start with a blank presentation, or I can start with a template. So I have already downloaded some templates and installed them. Okay, and then these are some great looking templates, you can definitely use it. Okay, you can see these. Okay, we can use this, or we can actually install the themes. Okay, there are more themes. This is also there, this is only default. You can also do it later, but let's just go for the install template, and you can go for this, and let's say I'm going to create it. Okay, so once I create this, I have got these options. Okay, I can design a class. Now since I'm designing a class, so it's better that I will take a very simple design. Okay, and then these are some of the designs that I can use. Okay, maybe I should also change the template again. If I want to change the template again I can go for installed templates, and I will take a very simple one. Okay, so let me take this create. And then what I take this what I have here is a lot of things. Okay, and usually these things are more or less business oriented, if you are going to make some charts and all. Okay, so for now, if I just take a blank presentation. Okay, if I take a blank presentation, and I can go for any of the themes. Okay, let's keep it as simple as possible. Okay, and then straight away I start with the title. So let me just write down here my presentation. Okay, and then I can just write down my name here. Okay, and then we can actually straight away start with our class lectures. So if I want to go any for any of the presentations, I can just simply click here and then just tap enter, and then I can get the next slide. But you see, most of the times I really don't need it to have this. Okay, I can use a separate text altogether. I'm sure many of you have already used it. So I'll go for home, okay, and then I will go for layout, and I'm just going to create a blank slide. If I do the blank slide, the theme also goes off, and if I don't want to do it, I can just keep this title only. Okay, so let me just go for the next presentation, and let me just type on any title. Okay, let's say let me write on first slide. Okay. Or if I am basically taking a tour of India, let's say let me just put something like India. Okay, and then I want to include some text. I can go for this text box and then go here and then type whatever I want. Okay, so that is also possible. Okay, if the need things are simple, I think you already know it. But what I want to tell you is how do you actually work with maths, okay, and on templates. So if you're a science teacher, most of the times you do use a lot of templates or PowerPoint presentation, but you need to use some mathematical equation. How do we do it? Okay, so there are different ways of doing it. Okay, so let me just write down this. Let's say I want to write down Einstein equation. Okay, Einstein equation. So once I write down Einstein's equation, and suppose I want to write down E is equal to mc square. Now there are different ways of doing it. So first thing, I can just use a text box and write down the equation. Okay, so I can just simply write down E is equal to mc. Now this is the first step. So if I write down this, I need to do a square term. Okay, now what I can do is if I sometimes it's not always there, the superscript and the subscript. Now this mc square must be a superscript. Okay, so what I do is if I press control and the plus button, okay, you basically have it as a subscript, and if you press control plus shift and the plus button, you basically have got the superscript. Okay, so this is something which you should remember, because most of the times when we actually use the equation, we can use this. Okay, so what we do is, let me just write down this. Okay, let me just take down another text box here, and then if I write down this shortcut. Okay, so if you want to actually write down a superscript, what you can do is you can press control button. Okay, CLCMT. Okay, and then you keep it pressed. Okay, and then you press plus and then the plus button. Okay, so you basically will have a superscript. Okay, so sorry, superscript plus shift. Okay, so we have got this plus the, and then the finally the plus button. So this will give you a superscript. Okay, and then if you want to write down the subscript, you can just simply write down here subscript, which is nothing but the same thing, control plus plus and the plus button. Okay, so this is the entry for superscript and subscript in shortcut if you want to do it in PowerPoint. Now there is another way of doing it. Okay, let's just go to Google. Okay, and let me just close this out, or you can just simply take another. So we can just go for Google now, and then let's suppose I have an equation and I don't really want to type in. Okay, there are different ways, because there are some equations which are really long, and I don't really want to type it and so on. Okay, let me write down a formula. Let's say I want to find out semi-empirical mass formula. Okay, now the semi-empirical mass formula is this. Okay, and then this is a too long an equation, and I don't really feel like typing it. Okay, so there are two ways of inserting this. What you can do is you can obviously download the image. Okay, you can do a right click here. Okay, and then you can go for directly copy image. Now nowadays you don't really need to download anything. Okay, you just need to copy it, so that you don't need to save it. You just go for copy image. Okay, and then you can go for your presentation, and let me take the next slide here. Okay, and then you can directly go and paste it. Okay, so this is one way of doing it. Okay, this is one way of doing it, and then it's done. Okay, another way of doing it is this. Let's say you have a PDF file. Okay, so if I just open a PDF file here, what will happen is these PDF files, sometimes there might be some restrictions. Okay, and then you are not able to copy it, or you don't really want to crop it down and so on. Okay, so I'll go for this. Okay, and then let's say I'll open some document. Okay, so let me just open this. Okay, and then once you have this, you want to copy a particular content. Let's say this is basically an equation or something. Okay, and what you can do is you can just scroll down the pages. Okay, and then let me just find out something which I can copy. So once I have an equation or anything else, okay, so let me say this chart, okay, suppose this chart I want to copy, and this chart is not getting allowed to be copied, okay. So let me just zoom in here. So in control plus, if you keep on pressing, you can always zoom in and see this is a chart, and then it's difficult to get copied. So what I do is I use an amazing tool which is actually coming in default with Windows, that is basically called snipping tool. So basically I just type snipping and you can actually get the snipping tool. So once you get this snipping tool, this is the tool, okay. Now before I use the snipping tool, let me tell you one more way. What you can do is whatever you have on your screen, you can paste it in your PowerPoint, and you have to use a shortcut, that is a print screen. So if you find in your keyboard, you will see that there is something written as print screen. In some keyboards it's in short as PRTSC. So I'll just press print screen. I've just now pressed the print screen on my keyboard. And then I can go here and then I can paste it, right? Now once I paste it, see, this is something I don't want. I want only the chart, okay. I want only the chart. So what I'll do, I'll go for format, and then I can go for crop, and then I will crop it down, okay. I'll crop it down. I think this is something which you have already done a number of times, but some of you might have definitely done it. So let me say I don't want to include the text, okay. So I'll just keep it this way, and then this is done. But this actually takes a lot of time, and if you're going to make a longer presentation, this is going to waste a lot of time. What is the other way? The other way is actually quite simpler, using this snipping tool. So what you do is you can open your PDF, and then you can go for new. As soon as I click new, everything gets grayed out, okay. And then I have this crossbar, and then once I click it, I don't leave my mouse, okay, and then try to drag it over the space which I want to actually clip, okay. So basically this is the region I want, and then I can just leave it. Once I leave it, this gets copied in your snipping tool. Now what you can do is you can actually go for file and save as, and go for saving it as an image. But I just need it for the moment so that I can copy it in PowerPoint. So what I do is I'll just go for PowerPoint again, okay, and on top of the PowerPoint I go for click and paste. So it is copied the same thing, okay, and then you see that you have this image. And this is very simple. You don't need to do any type of cropping. You can just simply use the snipping tool, okay. This is as simple as that. So this is a very important trick, okay. And then if I want to save the image, I can save it. If I don't want, I can just close it down, okay. And if you want to still keep on using it, you can again go for a new snipping tool and then put a new option, okay. So this is something which is very important. This is particularly helpful in writing down the mathematical equation. One more thing I'd like to tell you, that whenever you're doing something like this, and you want to be perfectly on the right side of legality, okay, you definitely should give the reference, okay. So for me, the reference might be the name of this book, okay. So I can just put the name of this book, which is nothing but Thermal Power Plant Performance Analysis, okay, by Springer, and I can give the reference here, okay, and that is very important, okay. So whenever you're doing any kind of copying, it's very important. So even if you're copying an image, it's good to give references, okay. So this is something which I wanted to tell you. And apart from that, if I go one more point here, that if I go for let's say I want to go for the slide presentation, and then if your laptop is connected to a projector, then you will see there will be a presenter view, which is a split screen, okay. I don't have connected it with the projector right now, but the aim I want to tell you here is that there is a great tool with PowerPoint which comes in, which is the pen tool, okay. So whenever you click here, you basically get a pen or a highlighter, okay. Okay, so what you can do is you can just basically take a ball pen, and whenever you are explaining any concept and you want to underline certain things, you can always do it, okay, this way. So if you're using a smooth mouse, a good mouse, you can definitely say this, okay. So you can say that, okay, this is the nuclear energy, this is the renewable energy, this is the natural gas, and as you keep on talking, we can always do this markings on, okay. That is usually what I do when I teach my students with recorded video lectures, okay? So this is always preferable, and you can come out of it, just you press escape, and then you can actually get back the arrow, okay, and then you can move your slide ahead or back. So this is something which you can do, and this is some important trick that we have, okay? One more thing I'd like to tell you is about the mathematical equation. If you are a science teacher and you need some equations to be written in, what you can do is you can use the word file, okay. That's also very simple, and you can directly copy your equation from the word file. So let me write down this equation, okay. So if I can go for this, I can just write insert, okay, and let me just zoom it a bit, okay. and then I can go for insert, and then I can go for equations. Okay. Now this is a default tool which comes with your Microsoft Word. Okay, and you don't really need to do any softwares, use any software as such. Many people do use a software which is called maths type. So if you want to actually write down equations, you can use this software which is called maths type. Okay, you can download it and install it, and then that can be helpful. But if you are comfortable with writing the equations in Word file using this is the default tool we are talking about. Okay, this is one of the tools, not the default. It's basically something which you can download. Okay, and then you can download it for Windows and use it all the time for writing down equations. But you can actually also use this insert equation in Windows. Now let me write down this equation. Let's say I want to write down an equation, n is equal to n naught e to the power minus lambda x, let's say. So I want to write down n is equal to, now I want to write down n to the subscript. So what I do is I can go for script here, and then I can just click this. So you can see then this would be n naught. Okay, and then this is n, this is n, and this is 0. I can write down. Okay, and then e to the power minus lambda x, suppose I want to write down. So I can write down this e and to the power, so I can take this. Okay, and let's say it is not lambda x, let's write down lambda divided by x. So that means what I can do is I can put an n here, and then I can put an O here, so it is n naught, and then this is an exponential, so let me write down an e, and then I can simply write down here as lambda x. So what I can do is I can insert a symbol here, so I can just go for insert, and then I can go for symbol. I've done this before, so let me just you can go for more symbols and search for the symbols that you exactly want. Okay, so if let's see if lambda is there. If not, then we get to search. So you can just go for lambda here, and then we go for insert and close. Okay, so it gets copied. Okay, and then we can simply write down lambda x. It's as simple as that. Okay, but suppose that's I don't want to really go for lambda x. I want to go for lambda divided by x, and that's also in power. So what I can do is I can have this. Okay, I can delete this, and then I can again go for design, and then I go for fraction, and then I write down this by this. So what happens, since you have selected the superscript, this divided by symbol gets selected, and then I can put lambda and then divided by x. So I can go for this insert, and then I can go for a symbol, and then lambda was already done before, so it is there in shortcut, and then I can put divided by x. So let me write down this x. Okay, and this is exactly how you've written your equations. Okay, and then this there are some tips and tricks you have to always keep on looking, because if you want to put a radical sign or the square root, and also this also can be done here. There are some common before already pre-designed equations. You can use integrals from here. Okay, you can use large operators. Okay, the summation signs and all. Your limits can be used. You can see the brackets here, the first, second, third bracket, everything can be used. Okay, even you can use some other operator symbols which you have here. You can use the trigonometric functions. Okay, and then so on. Okay, you can use limits, and every option is already given there, so you can definitely use it. Now you want to suppose put it in your PowerPoint, you can just simply go for this. You can right click, you can copy, or you can press Ctrl C. You can go for your PowerPoint presentation and then just paste it. So when you basically paste it, it gets pasted as an equation. Okay, or sorry, as an image, and then you have this here ready. Okay, so in case you don't have it in your default program, you basically can just don't have it in your default program, you can basically just use it as an equation. Okay, and then you can just copy it, and basically it gets copied as an image. So this is another way to make your equations. Okay, so I hope this should work. Okay, and then it will help you out to design your presentations for the students. That's all for today. Thank you.